good evening, and welcome again to another edition of the People's Choice here on WCEG Network, the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited this evening, and I am your host, as always, Joe Flint, all one word like a tribe called Quest. I'm excited this evening. I have with me the inaugural mayor of the city of South Fulton. But guess what? He is running again for mayor. Apparently, there is a need for leadership in the city of South Fulton, and we are excited to have with us the inaugural mayor, Mr. William Bill Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Bill Edwards to WCEG. He's no stranger to the People's Choice. How you doing, sir?
I'm fantastic. Yourself, Joe?
I can't complain. If I were any better, I'd be twins.
All
Listen,
right.
I just want to jump right in, and I want to say thank you for always being available to us when we reach out to you to communicate with you concerning the things that are taking place, not only in the city of South Fulton, but anything that you can attribute to or give contributions to. You're always willing to do that. So I want to say thank you for that, for your willingness to always help to educate the people. And so I want to ask this question. There's no doubt, and I don't want to sound any slighted with this, but there's a belief that people believe in term limits in this concept, and people believe that we hire and fire our elected officials. We hire them the day that we vote them in, and we fire them the day that we vote them out. My question to you is, why do you believe now that the people are willing to accept you back as the mayor of the city of South Fulton?
So, three things. Let me tell you. There's a story I tell all the time about a man that met me in the streets and he did not vote for me last time.
Hmm.
And he said, Joe, he said, Bill, I didn't vote for you. And I'm going to tell you why. I said, why is that? He said, I thought we needed a change.
Mm.
My question to him was, how did that work out for you? So that's kind of like you've had your little bout with change now.
Right,
Right.
right.
The other thing is that the indefensible lies that they put out. One of the lies was that if I got to be mayor, that I was going to get rid of all the clubs on South on which one was Old National Highway,
Old National, yeah.
which was not true. And then the biggest one, Joe, was the fact that they said that I brought all the warehouses that were put on South Fulton Parkway,
Hmm.
that I was responsible for every warehouse that was over there.
Mm.
But Joe, if you go back and look, and if you go back and research, every warehouse has a Union City address.
Mm. Isn't that something?
Right. I can, they can show me one agenda item
Right.
when I was commissioner or when I was mayor that show where I had brought in, approved, or whatever, any type of warehousing in the city. So, Joe, it's unfortunate that people, they believe a lot of stuff.
Right. Right.
There's an old saying that a lie will go around the world before the truth puts its pants on.
Yeah, long before truth gets dressed. Yes.
Right, right.
Yes.
So I,
Yes.
I had to go through that. They bought into that, and the fact that people didn't come back and vote on the runoff.
Right.
All
Right.
all that added to my demise in the election.
So what do you see? What do you see another term as mayor of the city of South Fulton? What are your plans? What is it that you want to accomplish for the city in the next 4 years?
One thing I want to do is make sure that we have four things. My my
Hmm.
my, my whole thing is based on four things.
Okay.
Uh, and one of those uh, that I'd like to always tell people that we have, because you got to have an idea of what you want to do, right?
Right.
Uh, One of those is sustainability,
Okay.
which is very, very important. Governments do a lot of stuff. It's all fluffy and woolly and feels good to people. They'll do it today, but the question becomes, can you sustain what you're doing tomorrow?
Mm.
We haven't been able to do that at all in a lot of areas. Uh, the we have to go in and we have to look at our processes. We're going to have to
Hmm.
look at who working for us,
Okay.
and how that's going on, because your stability depends on too who you got in your organization that's working for you
Correct.
that understands your vision and your purpose.
Correct.
So we got to look at that. Uh, the other thing would be economic development. You know, economic development is always a point in everything you do. Well, what about?
Right.
Well, we haven't really had an economic development director in over a year.
Mm.
Matter of fact, we don't have one now. It's a very important part to what we do in development of strategies as to where we're going as a city.
Right.
I want people to understand and know that economic development does not mean that you sit behind a desk and people come to you and say, please let me come into your city. It
Right.
doesn't work like that. We're going to have to, we're going to have someone who's going to go out, engage, and bring back the kinds of things that we want for this city.
Okay.
The other thing when it comes to economic development, people don't realize this, is the fact that education, your schools.
Mm.
Now, even though schools are another form of government, it plays directly into your economic development strategy.
Of course it does.
There's an old adage that no one wants to come to a community where the children can't be educated
Mm.
or they're or they don't feel safe.
Right.
I will guarantee you the worst rundown community in this city, if there was a school next to it who was a top tier school all over the country, I guarantee it wouldn't be run down neighborhood not much longer.
Correct.
That's exactly where. So it brings about a need for people to come and live, and if they come and live, then there's strong possibility that they're going to partake in the goods and services. The other
But
thing, go ahead.
no,
The,
no, no. Please continue.
the other thing is accountability. Accountability, when you look at it, it only boils down to trust.
Right.
There's no trust in this government.
Mm.
It must be built back. If you remember, just recently we had a issue with wanting to pull the cap off the millage rate.
Millage rate. Correct.
Now, just think about this: had the citizens trusted you and not believed that you were doing some other shenanigans, that would have been a pretty short conversation.
Right.
But there's no accountability in you. There's no trust in you. So it blossomed into this big old argument, and finally they decided not to do it. Uh, so trust is a major factor when you're doing things. That's what you when they elected us, we told them that we were going to be truthful, we were going to be
Right.
and we were going to be sincere. There's no,
Right.
there's no evidence right now.
Mm.
Uh, the last thing and the most important thing, Joe, is listening.
Correct.
Every one of these, we have 118,000 people in the city of South Fulton, both, and all of them are tax-paying citizens.
Hmm.
A majority of them, they have a right to have a voice in their government, and I'm gonna make sure that right is protected, and that we are not here to make decisions for them. We're here to join them in making the right decisions for the city, and that goes back to my belief that we only need one South Fulton, city of South Fulton. We only need one. Not seven little cities running around here calling themselves districts.
Right.
We need one South Fulton, one mayor, city council, and a city manager. So
What
that's briefly the pillars of what I believe, and everything kind of comes up under that. But those are the four pillars that I believe is going to bring us back to prosperity.
With that being said, Mayor Edwards, tell us more about that, or tell us how you can unite the city, right? Because it's true that there's a belief that there are seven cities within one city, that everybody is currently running around, basically making their district the city of South Fulton in and of itself. Uh, what do you see? How do you think that has come about, and how can you unite the cities so that you can be one city of South Fulton?
if we would take the city charter for what it's worth on its face
Hmm.
and follow that charter, that would take us a long way into being a wholesome government.
Hmm.
So what has happened? We have circumvented some of the errors in the charter for our own purpose. Classic example. People have to understand we are in a weak mayor form of government,
Right.
which means that the city council and the
City manager.
city manager rather
Right.
city
Right.
manager are the people who run the city. And let me clarify that though. The job of a city council person is to make policy.
Right. Right.
The job of the city manager is to run the city based on that policy.
Right.
So somewhere we got confused.
Right. Right.
So let me tell you why the confusion started. What the charter says is if I'm a council person, you're an employee, right? The charter especially says, I can't tell you what to do.
Right.
What has happened is that city council people have relegated themselves and just stepped outside of the box into what is called operation.
Ah.
So when you're in operation, you're telling people what to do, you're bullying people, you're threatening people, you're making the whole atmosphere in terms of employees is not a wholesome place to work.
Right. Right.
Then on the city manager side, you got to have a city manager to say no when it's appropriate.
Right.
Not hide yourself behind 4 votes. What do I mean by that? Something can be wrong, but you still have 4 council people behind you. All right.
Right.
So rather than make them mad with me because I think it's wrong, I'll stand behind them because they are the majority of the people that we own.
Mm.
City managers have to say, I hear what you're saying. I don't agree. And here's why. You can't hide yourself behind 4 votes for the rest of your life.
Right.
So, hearing all of that, this is where this government just got out of whack. Personalities. See, 3 things you have to eliminate when you go in.
Okay.
3 words: me, my.
Myself and I. Yeah. I figure as much. Yeah.
And so you got to deal with that. You got some harmony. You got to you have to make them understand that we're here together as one city. We're not here to fight each other. We're not here to be jealous of one another. We're here to collaborate, make sound policies, and enhance the quality of life for all our citizens. That's not a hard concept to put your arms around. That's what,
You just kind of put in my head, and I don't mean to cut you off.
yeah,
You put in the Ice Baby. He said, "Stop, collaborate, and listen."
yes,
In the song Ice Baby, that's something that definitely needs to take place. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Yeah.
that's that's correct. That's Joe. That's
Yes.
really correct. And so
Yeah.
it's the job of the mayor. See, the charter also says the mayor's job is to be the face of the city.
Hmm.
He speaks for the city, all right? And the thing that he has, the only power he really has is the veto,
Right.
all right? Now, understand this. When you say weak mayor, that doesn't mean what it says.
Right.
If a mayor is facilitating, creating the bond, creating the fellowship, uh, creating all these things that make for a happy and wholesome government,
Right.
that's his job. I'll be able to tell you as a council person, I like you, but you're wrong.
Mm.
And not say you're wrong, he's wrong. Or to say to you, here's what I think. What do you think? Let's sit down and talk about it.
Right.
Right. And does it violate the policy? Does it violate any rule? Is it illegal? And hopefully it's not fattening. But let's talk. And
Right.
that's your job. you got to be the facilitator. All right. You got to show people where they're wrong, and so listen. See, the other thing, a mayor, people get up on these things and tell you about, when I become mayor, I'm gonna change the world, and I'm
Right,
gonna.
right,
Well,
right.
to be honest with you, if you don't have 4 votes behind you, you can't change nothing.
You can't change anything.
It ain't your job. It's not your job. But if you're
Right.
facilitating for what's right, making people understand if we go here, what's going to happen, all right? Or we go the other way, what's going to happen? And then get them to understand each other, get the votes behind it, and let's pass on what we have to pass on. I learned that a long time ago when I was a county commissioner. If you ain't got 4 votes, you don't have nothing but conversation.
And the meeting after the meeting. Uh,
Now, for votes don't mean threatening. You know, a lot of people like to say, if you don't vote for me on this, I ain't gonna vote for you on that.
right, right.
I learned a long time ago in politics not to barter.
Yeah,
Barter gets you all messed up. I
yeah,
did
yeah.
much in my career when I was commissioner, and I thought the person that I was bartering with was going to live up to what he said. The only problem, if you're going to barter with somebody, make sure that your issue goes first.
Right, right. There you go. There you go.
Because by the time you get right to your person who's going to help you, it may not be that.
It may not be the time. Mayor Edwards, you mentioned economic development. There's been a lot of talk about the fact that there are a lot of warehouses and data centers and all of these types of things that are in the city of South Fulton, but not enough live, work, play type of environment, not enough restaurants, not enough entertainment for the people that they're still having to travel, to Atlanta or to North, Atlanta, to other places to get their entertainment. How do you see your role into increasing the economic development and bringing new businesses, thriving businesses to have that live, work, and play atmosphere in the city of South Fulton?
To make people understand it's just not my role alone.
Mm,
It's all about roles.
right,
The way people perceive us based on how they see us on TV and the news and things of that nature
right.
is a major factor. All right.
Yeah.
The other thing is that even not just the businesses that we want to come here, but Joe, we got to straighten out the businesses we already
Right,
have,
right.
and make sure that we can maintain them during the process. Let me tell you why I say that. I believe that business comes where it's invited, uh, but it stays where it's welcome.
Okay.
We have I think we have a very big customer service problem in our businesses that we have here today.
Okay.
So what am I proposing? When I get to be a mayor, I'm going to have a team of people who has no contact with our city. We're going to go.
Hmm.
We're going to do mystery shopping,
Hmm.
and when the person comes out, they're going to fill out a form.
Okay.
Whatever you got in that form, it just don't be filed. I'm coming out to see you
Right.
and say, look, Miss Flynn, we just shopped your place, and here are the categories you failed in. Now,
Mm,
how can I help you to improve? Right? That's a big factor in economic development.
right.
The other thing is, if we don't get our act together, uh, nobody's gonna want to come to us. All right. Uh, I had a meeting one time years ago with and people have their reasons for not doing it, but we didn't have a whole lot of messaging in. But I had it with one of the big restaurants downtown, and I asked them, and see, the only question you need to have answered is, what is it going to take for me to get you to my community?
Hmm.
Uh, and they said, Houston, that's who it was.
Right.
And Houston said to me, like the community, got the people, got the demographics, all right? He said, but you don't have the density.
What was that? You don't have the what?
Density.
I got you. Okay.
Now, that's a big argument around because people don't like density, all right?
Mm,
I'm not promoting density, all right?
right.
But that's what they told me years ago.
Mm,
Since then, it's changed because we're in an area now where we act a fool and people don't like it. They see the news, they see
Right.
they say, "I'm not coming down
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there." They'll tell you point blank, "I'm not dealing with it." The other thing in economic development that's very important is the ability to move a potential developer or potential business through our permitting process.
Okay.
We have the worst time in the world for people who trying to get permits.
Yours is worse than Atlanta?
Yeah,
Oh,
probably,
wow.
probably. I just,
Wow. Yeah.
I just had a meeting 2 weeks ago with some commercial developers
Hmm.
headed on the north side, and they told me that our permit is off the chain. We can't get nothing through. But they said that they believe it's the fact that the people that we have, are not up to snuff.
Right.
Uh, and they also said you start a permit, and then, well, they switch you to somebody else. Now you got to start all over again.
Right. With someone else. Got you.
So you remember what I said about my pillars for being
Yes.
one of them was listening, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm sitting there listening, and I'm hearing it makes sense. They didn't say anything about, well, they do have a they do make reference to city council and the shenanigans and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it seems to me, in talking to them, we can fix this zoning thing. I mean, it's permitting because some of them had permits in for over a year
Mm.
and have not heard anything.
So
Uh,
that brings me to the thought process, and I'm sorry,
no
please
problem.
don't. It brings me to one of your pillars again about accountability and integrity. One, the question, of course, would be, why would you believe that, or why should the people believe that you'll be an accountable mayor? But the other thing is, how do we bring back accountability and integrity to the city of South Fulton? Because that seems to be an ongoing conversation, right? Integrity seems to be a big concern, not only for the office of mayor, but for the city council members as well. And people are concerned when people elect individuals. There's always a thought that, people make statements like, oh, well, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. I can only vote for who's going to do, or they say the lesser of two evils. That's how they say it. We're going to vote for the lesser of two evils. How can we remove that stigma for the city of South Fulton and say that we're electing people who are going to work for the city to restore the integrity, to restore the accountability in the city of South Fulton? How can you as mayor ensure that?
One thing you got to have is a strong communications department.
Your listening thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a strong community department because we're not giving people that advice. Years ago, I used to have what is called Citizens University,
Hmm.
and when I was commissioner, people loved it. But every department in the county, they would come in and they would teach what they do, how they do.
Right.
And at the end of all that, we had a big graduation with tassels and everything. And a lot of those people who were in that class wind up being elected officials
Mm.
other places. Uh,
Right.
so once again, now we're teaching people. One,
Right.
I'll tell you this: a learned community is the best community you can
Absolutely.
have. All right, and so it's our job to communicate what's going on. See, a lot of times people use this word transparency.
Mm.
That's always a key word. Well, I'm going to be transparent.
Right. Right. Right.
Well, transparency begins from the beginning,
Right.
not when something happens. See, what happens in that word only comes up when something goes wrong, and then
Right.
you're getting all of the information back as to why it should have gone another way, why it should have gone the other way, right? Well, that's what they call transparency.
Right.
I don't need that when the thing is done. When I'm in turmoil,
I need it from jump.
see, obviously there was no transparency, or I wouldn't have been where I am today.
Right.
I want to be able to do that. And I want everybody to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. And most important, why they're doing it.
Okay.
I want to have town hall meetings. You go up to the city hall on the days of the meeting, you got 3 minutes or 2 minutes to state what you want. Well, I can't do that in a debate or for
Who can?
yeah. So what I want to do is give the people the opportunity to say what they need to say, and that's the opportunity to learn from what they say. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to go out to the community, have what I call listening sessions. I work it's impromptu. I'm not bringing all these department heads and all this stuff out to the meeting. No, it's me and you, casual at the barbershop, casual at the grocery store, casual at the beauty salon, and just seriously sit down and talking about it.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel that now you feel like you're a partner.
Yeah.
That what that a lady said the other night, she said, these people are doing things in economic development and they're not even talking to us. I hear that all the time.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah, I can believe that.
yeah, there's avenues on which people, when they come into zoning and stuff like that, they can come up and say things, but it's not it doesn't have the kind of impact that we need.
Right.
And the other thing is some things are just common sense, Joe. I always feel this way that that God so loved the world that He didn't send the committee. We are inundated with committees.
Mm.
Committee for this, committee for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think if God had sent a committee.
Yeah. He didn't call no committee. We'd have never got anything done.
Right, right.
Right. Right.
So we add a layer to an already confused community.
Right.
And the community will understand where there is a committee or whatever they call themselves, right? That whatever they do is a recommendation to the board,
Right.
not the law.
Right.
They go before the zoning board, they get upset because the zoning board passed this. Okay. That doesn't mean
Right.
they don't pass because
Right.
but that goes back to education and let people know.
Right.
Last,
Right.
I want to find out if one exists. I want to create one. I want to create a community dashboard
Mm.
where you can look on your computer. Now they tried this with something called uh, OpenGov. They did,
Okay.
it did in 21, in 19, in 19, 20, 21 it was gone because we could not. Their rationale was that they didn't understand the process of how it worked and everything.
Okay.
But we got to get somebody to help us with that so that you can look up on your computer and see and follow where we are in zoning, where we are in spending, And if you have any questions, you can call the offices, call my office or whatever. We'll try to get the answers for you. Those are things that haven't been done before. They sound kind of outrageous, Joe, but they can be done. Once that happens and it's out there, you'll see a lot of stuff happening in the community die out.
Real time.
Real time. Yet now,
Yeah.
keep in mind that you're a problem. You are a part of the solution, but you're also a part of the problem.
Mm.
As a community people,
Yes.
you're part of the problem. Classic example. You do a land use plan, right?
Right.
So they have these meetings, 3 or 4, 5 meetings for the land use plan. You don't show up as a community person.
Hmm.
Right? So what happens is when the zoning comes back, you don't like it. But guess what? It fit the land use plan. So
Right.
because you weren't there, if you'd have been there, it might have been a different outcome. Maybe we'd looked at some things in the land use plans a little different. That always gets me because where there's opportunity and we do not take part in the opportunity to do something, then you're part of the problem.
Mm. I agree with you there.
Right.
You mentioned slightly there. You mentioned about finance, and we were kind of talking about economic development. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I haven't had a chance to go back and look at it, so forgive me if I'm incorrect about this. But I know that there was a proposed budget of, well over $400 million for the city of South Fulton, which was a, 40 something percent increase from what they had had previously. Um, do you think that proposed budget, or if it passed, again, I don't remember, please forgive me, uh, is that budget worthwhile, and can you see the city being able to manage that money well? Because that's where it boils down to, the management of the money. If you're asking for money, you're asking for more tax revenue, you're asking for all of these things, but how are you managing this money? And I asked that in the context that there were a lot of issues with this previous administration, with this previous council, of the mismanagement of money. And so, do we see it worthwhile? Is it worth for the people to approve a budget of almost half of what more than half of what you already had?
Well, I'm gonna say my mother always told me that a fool and his money will part.
Will part.
So let me put it another way. Joe, if I told you that I had $400 million, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you jump, oh, this is great. Let's do, whoa, man, we're just kicking it.
Right.
Suppose I told you I had $400 million, but $197 million of the $400 million already expenditures that I had.
Already spent. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Little different, ain't
Right. Very different.
it? Little
Yes.
different.
Very
Uh,
different.
so everybody, people running for all say, we got $400 million. Well, do we? What is that reality now? Let's say we do. Let's say we do. Let me just give an example about how do we take care of our service delivery and the people who are living in our community. We all
Right.
we all know that the federal government is taking away jobs, taking away health care, taking away everything. And what happens with that is that a lot of the grants come down from the federal government, goes to the county, some of them, and then they trickle down to the municipality.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those grants we use for service delivery. We're probably not going to get some of those jobs.
Right.
So what are we going to put aside for the fact that we're going to help to aid our community in bad times?
Mm.
All right. The other thing, this city is like a swan sailing across the lake,
Mm.
but they're paddling like hell underneath.
Right.
let
Right.
me
Right.
take a classic example. Let me take the Parks and Recreation Department. Why we got all this money?
Yeah.
We got 18 parks, right? It's one of the best Parks and Recreation uh, uh, departments around. All
Okay.
right, got good leadership. Has gotten awards, state awards for things that they've done and are doing. But Joe, we only got 50 people.
Mm.
50 people.
Right. 18 parks.
In this budget, guess how many more people they're gonna get? Zero.
Oh, wow.
Zero.
Wow.
These guys are working 75, 80 hours a week
Yeah. Yeah.
and doing an outstanding job
Right.
of what they're doing. We should be honoring them and patronizing them and giving them raises or whatever.
Right.
We don't. So now, when you build the new police headquarters, right? There's a 14-acre linear park tied to the police station. They took $1 million of park money to help buy the land for the linear park.
Mm.
Now, as you listen to this, I want you to interrupt me and make it make sense.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
make sense. Uh, then you have, let's look at the police department. We don't have, we're building a multi-million-dollar building, right?
Yeah. I was getting to that, but yeah, please go ahead.
If you get into, listen, my idea of government building and stuff like that is a whole lot different than theirs, okay? Because I believe in having government complexes and not having government buildings all over the place. All right.
Right. Right.
Uh, when they did it, millions of dollars. You go look at the cost. Majority of that cost, Joe, is construction.
Yeah.
The thing that's missing is what we call M&O, which
Okay.
is maintenance and operation.
Okay.
Let's go back to my other pillar, sustainability.
Right.
You can build look pretty. Everything's going on good.
Everything looks good, brand new.
Yeah, but can you hold on to it? Now,
Right.
building that side for the cost we made, you probably gonna have to have facility management. We gonna pay more lights, and if we lease some space right now somewhere, usually the leaseor pays for the maintenance. But
Right.
now we're gonna have to encumber that money.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Now, so let's compare them to the building of a multi-million-dollar building and a parks department who is suffering for lack of employees. All right. Now, let's go a little further. Let's go to the police department. Total turmoil. All right. We have, Joe, we have put the police chief on leave until the findings of the investigation.
Right.
$18,000 a month. Joe, I don't have any parks, people.
Right. Right. Right.
Makes sense to me. All right.
Right. Right.
It gets worse. So we bring in a consultant from out of the state to look into it. He's making $25,000 a month.
The consultant is?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Now, remember now, you still have a assistant police chief who's still working,
Yep. Still getting paid.
getting paid. Now, if my chief dies or gone or whatever, it seems to me that logically my assistant police chief supposed to take over.
Right. Right.
You add it up and make it make sense. Now, that's paddling, baby. They're paddling in the water.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you look at the administration of this city, you got a city manager and two assistant city managers, right? That expenditure for us is somewhere in the area of $600,000 for 3 people.
Wow.
The question becomes, why do we need 3? That's the question that's been asked.
Right. Right.
But the bigger question to me is, why I ain't got no more parks, people?
Yes. Yes. Especially with a budget of $600,000 for 3 people, and you have 18 people, or you have 50 people to service 18 parks. And that's not all 18 people servicing the park. Some of them are in administration.
Yeah.
So that is a
So
huge.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you sit here, you got people working, they believe in the city. And then add to that, what do you do for morale? When I was commissioner, I used to have a thing called Good Things. All right. They thought I was crazy. I would go down to different departments. I would throw graffiti. They would be working. I'd be throwing graffiti, bring them brunch and music. And they thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was a morale builder.
Right. Right.
When I was mayor, I went around. I walked City Hall 3 times a day. I would go in people's offices, and I don't like closed doors, so they usually have them open anyway. But go in people's offices and wouldn't give them a direction at all.
Yeah.
How you doing, Miss Jones? Everything all right? Good. How's your family?
Yeah.
You're doing a fantastic job. Let me just say thank you, please. And I move
Right. Right.
on. Little thing, but it's a big thing. All right. People are tired of being misused. They're
Yes.
tired of being unappreciated. They're tired of being underpaid. They're tired of being bullied. They just want to do their job and do it well for a government that they feel is a good government. And it is
Yeah.
happening. We're losing people day by day. Now, let's put a cap on all of this. We have lawsuits pending.
Listen, you're taking my questions from me. That's the other part of it. Like, there you want to increase the budget, but there are several, not just one or two, there are several lawsuits out concerning the city of South Fulton. So is some of this budget going to have to pay for those lawsuits? Of course.
Now, let me explain to you. Explain to you. We have an insurance called GERMA that you can get through the Georgia Municipal Association, right?
Okay. Okay.
So GERMA is an insurance company, all right? So what does that mean? I was insurance for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
It means is this. If you continue to have these lawsuits,
They're gonna
now,
they're gonna get rid of you. Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
cut you, or they're gonna increase your premium.
Your premium. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, both of them are bad. But
Either way. Yeah.
if they cut you, then what you're gonna have to do is be self-insured.
Yeah.
So that means you gotta put some money aside to in case you
To,
have legal.
to cover the issues. Yeah.
We hire we hire outside attorneys. I mean, we hire outside attorneys. We hire these consultants like crazy. You know, so my big job is going to be is to bring qualified people back into the city and let
Hmm.
them feel it's all right. I know what happened. I know you've seen a lot of stuff, but it's all right to work for us
Yeah.
because a lot of good people that we have, they don't. A lot of people don't want to come here.
Mm.
That's not something that you heard. That's the truth. All right,
Right.
they don't want to come here. So we work with our image. We bring new people in on the council. We get a new mayor, and we begin to build the integrity back into what we do.
Let me ask you this, Mayor Edwards. You kind of touched on the police and fire thing. Uh, you know, you know this. I've had the opportunity to have discussions with many of the, individuals running, not only for mayor, but for city council as well, in some of our forums. And there's been questions and or concerns concerning the land and everything that was purchased for the firemen at the training facility and the police training facility. And I've heard questions or even statements. Why can't the city of South Fulton use that of what the county already has, for some other areas? Why must they build a new facility already when this money could be used for something else? Do you believe that this facility is needed at this moment, or could it have been something that could have been built later on and they continue to use the training facilities of the city of Atlanta or whoever else in the area?
Well, bring back another issue, something called relationships.
Mm.
Uh, you have to have relationships. I've had relationships.
Yeah,
I've had relationships. I could call the governor. I could call the chairman,
yeah,
the county man. I can just pick up the phone and call. All right.
right, right.
We don't have those relationships. See? So the county's building their own training facility for police, right? So why can't the conversation could have been? Now, get me wrong. I'm not against police fire being
Right.
trained.
No, no, no. I understand
Yeah,
that. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I know that going to Forsyth and all these places is really time consuming and a little bit expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but listen, if I could have said to the chairman, listen, you're building this facility over here. Uh, how can we work collaboratively together and work this out, and we can both train our people.
Right.
It may never have worked out, but at least I felt enough.
But we started the conversation.
Yeah, at least I felt enough that he would listen to me, that he
Right.
respect for me, and I have respect for him.
Hmm.
Do you think that anybody in this county can go over there and do that? People don't respect us.
Yeah.
So uh, we're gonna build these things. Now I got to go back to sustainability. Yeah, you're gonna have to have the same thing you had before. I have more faith in fire because fire people, they're the way they work and the way they live,
They
they,
sustain
they've
themselves.
sustained themselves to
Correct.
a,
Correct.
but let's go back to the budget. You're gonna have to have it's gonna increase with the fire department. Um, the biggest thing for me right now, and I tell Chief this all the time, there's a concept in fire called level zero. Have you heard of that?
I can't say that I have.
Well, let me tell you what level zero is. Level zero is the time during the day or night, right? Whatever the case may be, that we don't have any ambulance.
Anything going on? Okay.
So any ambulance, there's a lot going on.
Okay.
there's no ambulance available.
Okay. Okay.
The state of Georgia would not allow us a permit to to escort people to the hospital or to give them or have ambulance. No, we can't do that. The only city down here that has that is Hapeville, and I think
Mm,
it's years and years ago. But they cannot transport. All right, they
mm,
can under four different situations. All right, uh, but most of the time they cannot. Uh,
okay.
so what happens is our first responders is our fire department.
Right.
So the fire department goes in and they stabilize the situation, the medical situation. And then at some point in time, preferably, Grady will show up. Now, once I'm stabilized and have to go to the hospital, at that point, Grady becomes a taxi on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so, not only that, if my person, my emergency medical person, is got my machinery hooked up to the person, he got to take my machinery, put it in the ambulance, and ride down there with it.
Right.
Then I got to go pick my machinery and my person.
Okay.
All right. Uh, so I'm saying is, why aren't we being proactive? And I know it's a long fight, but I've been involved with it. I know, but something has to happen. We paying Grady an exorbitant amount of money,
Oh yeah.
you know, to be a taxi cab.
So that makes me question, I know, and I don't know all of the ins and outs of this, but I know that our current governor has not, been doing a good job of ensuring that there are more hospitals, in and around South Georgia area. But even within the metro area, for instance, in the city of South Fulton, now, I don't know where every corner of South Fulton starts and begins. I can think about it in my mind, but I don't know that there are enough emergency centers or places in the city of South Fulton without somebody having to travel to. What's the closest hospital? Is it Grady?
Over here where I live, it would probably be Fayetteville.
Okay, okay.
Be
But even
Fayetteville.
that's not close.
And
Even that's not close to you.
so here's people have to understand when you say there's a lot of entities about why we don't have the medical system.
Right.
But first of all, uh, we got to go out and try to recruit. We don't have it. We don't
That's the
have
biggest problem. Yeah.
activity going on in our city.
Mm.
No longer can we sit back and allow people to knock our door down and say, "Please let me build something in your city."
Yeah.
Then what they want to do is they may not build the right thing that you want. So
Mm.
you have to have a strategy that goes out, identifies. Let's go back to listening.
Right.
That identifies from the people what is it that you really want. All
Right.
right, and then you start benchmarking those things and going after it. All right,
Right.
but you have to have something with you. I asked the question. Uh, Do we have an economic development brochure?
Right.
We don't. We have a brochure, but I'm saying economic development brochure.
Right. Right.
And they said no. Well, when you go out to see somebody, one of the things you're going to ask them, as I said before, what can I do to get you into my city? But then I want to leave something for them to think about.
Right.
A nice brochure with the hands is talking about what we do and how we do it. All right. And so we didn't have that. So how are we going to get out? We need more restaurants. We're not going out to get them.
Mm.
We're not. And sometimes, Joe, people don't like this, but sometimes you have to give an incentive to bring it.
Yeah, that's a given. I mean, I don't know any city or any entity that doesn't use incentives to draw people. As you were saying this, I was thinking about, I don't know if you know this, but my background in the military is I was an Army recruiter. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to go in all areas. I recruited in Southwest Mississippi, and I
Mm-hmm.
had a 2,500 square mile radius that I had to recruit in. And I couldn't sit in my recruiting office waiting for a candidate to come to
That's
me
right.
in
That's right.
order to enlist them in the Army. I had to go in every area of that 2,500 square mile radius to find a candidate or an applicant to become a member of the United States Army. And I'm not saying this to boast, but only in the nearly 4 years that I recruited, I only went 1 month without having somebody to join the military, and I was out sick most of that time frame. But you have to go to the point that you're making. You have to go. You have to have the material.
Right.
I had to be able to tell the Army story in order for it to fit somebody else. So I have to tell the story of South Fulton in
Mm-hmm.
order for businesses to want to come to our area, in order for emergency centers to want to come to our area, in order for employees to want to work for it. So I don't know that there's a recruitment department in the city, but that may be something that you all can look into. I know that kind of falls into the economic development group, but there needs to be a set of people that really can just go out and sell the city of South Fulton. Uh,
And
uh,
and
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
you can't sell it right now based on what's happening. Your
You're
sale
right.
your sale
Yeah.
your sale has to be incorporated with change.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree.
Because we're trying to put a new face on the city.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
old face is gone. And so that's be somewhere you have to intertwine that.
Right. 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 Well, Bill, the hour, oddly enough, has already been well spent. We've come almost to the very end of it, and we've touched on a lot of things here, and I know that you got to your pillars, but I want to kind of circle back to that in a way in which this is your stump speech, letting the people know why they should choose you as the next mayor of the city of South Fulton.
Mm.
Because there's no question that the city needs a new image.
Yeah,
And a new image doesn't necessarily mean a new face, but it means a facelift, if you will.
right, right.
Bringing us back to where we once were. I use the example of Atlanta's resurgence thing, um, out of the ashes
Yeah, the
uh,
thing.
comes this.
Yeah.
Right, right. So, how do we get South Fulton back to its jewel status with William Bill Edwards as its mayor?
Well, you know what? I was a gentleman came up to me again. And he said, "Bill, you know the difference between the first 4 years of this city and the second 4 years?" And I said, "Well, probably I could tell you a lot of things." He said, "No,
Mhm.
it's only one thing."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, please tell me what it is." He said, "In the first 4 years, we had an adult in the room."
Mm.
And that got me to thinking, he's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you remember I came in, I was the only one with it, with any experience or anything. We had 7 people had never been in politics.
Correct. Correct.
And we did a lot of great things. We held off a lot. Back in that day, I inherited this job with the $80 million worth of debt and,
Yeah.
and $60 million in the bank.
With no money. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I left this job. When I left, I had debt was going. I had $75 million in the bank.
Mm.
And so it was a lot of turmoil. You need someone right now with experience relationships that they can call other governments, other governmental entities, other elected officials, and
Right.
partner with them uh, when they have to.
Right.
Partnership is born out of respect
Hmm.
uh, from each other.
Right.
Uh, I have that. I have,
Hmm.
and those are the types of things I want to bring back to this community. And I think that once we're there and start our program, that you'll see a swift change in this government and how it's been working. But people got to know that the seeds you sow are the harvest you get.
Oh yeah.
And so we got to sow better seeds if we're gonna get a better harvest.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to do that. And I'm the one to do that. And the best thing people can do right now to save this community or save the city is to bring Bill back.
Yes. I like that. Bring Bill back.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here on WCEG, the people's choice to bring Bill back. All those B's, but it's worthwhile.
yeah.
So you can get a good rating with the Better Business Bureau. How about that? When you
There
bring
you go.
Bill back, there you go. Well, listen, Mayor Edwards, I can't say thank you enough again for joining us here on the People's Choice. And I want to make this known, ladies and gentlemen, that the views and the commentary are that of the guest and the host of the People's Choice and not of WCEG Community Network in and of itself. But I want to say thank you, Mayor Edwards, for coming on to share with us your vision and what you want to see the city of South Fulton to be like in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I always jokingly tell this story. When I lived on Cascade, y'all wrote me out of the city. So I don't live in the city of South Fulton, but had y'all wrote me in, I probably would have been right there. But I can't say thank you enough for the leadership that you've given, in previous years on the commission and the leadership that you've given, even in the time that you've been out of office.
Yeah.
Something that I'm a firm believer in is that the interview really starts when you don't get the job. And
There you
so
go.
people will really be able to tell whether or not you were committed to this if you don't get if when you didn't get the job the first time or the second time around, if you will. Knowing that you've still been active, knowing that you've still been out there making ways for other people, that makes the difference. And so again, I want to thank you for your commitment, not only, to the office, but to the community as a whole. Is there anything else that you want to add
So
before we close out?
just thank you. I really appreciate uh, being here and getting an opportunity to fulfill one of my pillars, and that is to listen. And
Yes,
I get enough. I get things from you, and like you get things from me. But
absolutely.
had not we had the opportunity to listen to each other, then
Absolutely.
that would fall to the wind. So thank you so much for allowing.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Mayor Edwards. And ladies and gentlemen, this again has been another edition of the People's Choice here on WCEG, the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. I'm your host, Joe Flint, all one word, like a tribe called Quest. Again, thank you, Mayor Edwards.